Hello, Supreme Commanders. Today I've got a fantastic 5 versus 5 coming up for you. Oh yes, it is that time. And can we make the intro a little bit quicker, some say? Let's see if we can. Alright, so it's a 5 versus 5, as we say. Average rating 1511 for this one. On the old Neuroxis map gen, it is a 12 by 12 map. 1520 versus 1500. Favouring Team 1, these will be the guys that are in the northeastern corner as orange, versus the purple Team 2 down in the southwest. Both Lobby and Supreme Scoreboard agree it is 93% balance, which I think is very, very low, and I'll tell you why. It's a 16-point spread. That's it between the two teams. That means just 3 points per player. And so with that, Splasher says I may teleport on in. Match day, the 23rd of May, the same day as now. So just a few hours ago, this one going down. And there we have it. Boom. Yes, those of you that did see the little teleport message today, apparently it's the first day that a car 120 years ago set off from San Francisco to travel all the way to New York, getting there a little over 2 months later. All right, introductory, let's get on with it then. So, boom, as we do this, we'll unpause the game and we'll start with this guy up here. We've got Stuxnet here in the Cybran as Grey 1300 factory, and I am trying to increase the speed at which we introduce some of these players. We've got Vaffles Noob here in Seraphim. That's what we're talking about. Seraphim in green. Come on, let's keep it together. The 2100, the only Uber Pro there for his team, also starting first land. Moving in the back in Cyan is Citrus 984, who I will no doubt stumble and call him 1984. He's the Aeon, starting first land as well there for the Cyans in Team 1. No doubt doing air slot. Moving forwards, we've got Nightblood. He's a 1700. Also another Cybran. Also, well, he's in the pro range. It's not quite Uber Pro, but he's above the bro at that 16 to 1700 break point there, going first land. And then last but not least for Team 1, in Electric Blue, is our UEF, is BJ. The 1000 rated, starting first land. He may have featured in the thumbnail. I don't know. Let's move over to the other side then as we start introducing Team 2. He's going to call him Kalu. He's the UEF for the other side, also 1000 rated, and so the Joe. Marker pen colour starting first land. Moving in the back here for Team 2, we've got Lilac. Oh, where is he? There he is. Love me some Rice there in the Lilac colour, the 1500. Another Cybran player. So a lot of Cybrans in this one. Moving in the back in yet another UEF, we've got Tassan 1400 starting first land, and moving forward in Ferrari red here is I'm always going to do that, man. He's Ed, he's 2400, and if I can find him, come on, there he is. As the old Cybran already trundling on towards the mid, look at his many footsteps there. This is a guy who's on a mission. And then last but not least, in dark purple, we have the man himself. It's Dorset, the guy that lives on the opposite end of the country to me. As UEF, also trundling towards him. That's, of course, assuming that he's named after the county. Could, of course, be talking complete twaddle, and he's gone first land. And so with that, yeah, I've managed to do it inside 3 minutes. And so let's bring the game sounds in. We do have Philip Crofts on again. He left a nice comment on the channel the other day. This, of course, for those who aren't aware, is the guy who's doing the sound for Sanctuary. And he said in his comment he'll be looking to update one of the mods for his sound for the game when he's got the time to do so. And I do think it's just a little bit loud now that I say it, and at risk of upsetting everybody, let's just very quickly drop it back. There we go. As the first actions begin to take place, I can hear guns shooting. Minor run-bys here from Stuxnet. Say what you like about this guy. The last thing that he wants is for Iran to have any sort of nuclear... Don't go there, man. Stay away from the political, even in jest. It doesn't work. People get all upset. Love me some rice. Also getting upset here. Stux trying to construct. 2 of his engineers get heavily damaged, but Stux is on the ball. Cancels construction of his factory and then resumes it, having sucked off the old light assault bot. If there's one thing that you want to do in life, even if just the one time, is suck off a light assault bot. Drop over here from Love Me Some Rice. That's quite a lot of engineers there for this little plateau, and you can see it is a landlocked plateau. The only way on is by drop, or you can take a leaf out of Stuxnet's book and say, yeah, but you can stand near the cliff and distance build, mate. There you go, mate. And indeed it is, and Stuxnet is the first one with a factory. And does he know that there is anything over there? No, he does not, and so he either needs a scout or something to realize there's going to be trouble at Mill if not. Bomber run here from Tassan, working on Citrus 984, and it does. That was perfect, man. I thought the fighter had got him, and there may be 1 or 2 bombs that wouldn't be enough, but no, the fighter gets him. There are 3, or whatever the minimum amount is required to get the engineer kills. Don't think there was anything left for anything else. Citrus there, losing 3 engineers at a crucial stage. Taking a look here in the mid. Kalu there pushing forward. Stuxnet getting to work on his gun. I think at this moment in time, all the commanders are still bare. And yeah, we can see Kalu, the 1000 rated, showing the 2100 off. Full share is on. We did introduce this guy, BJ. All right, best steady on with the old sexually innuendos, because it's going to be quite difficult with a name like that to pull it off successfully. No, I didn't intend to. Anyways, stay on course here, Kalu. I'm sure there'll be something. What's he mean? What was so funny about that? I don't know, man. I don't know. Go back to school, be 14 years old, and then stay stuck at 14. You'll find it funny. For anybody that has grown up, you know, I'm sure not. And so, yeah, look at this. Kalu here on the other side of Vaffles. Vaffles with a bit of support from the old BJ. And Vaffles now back on the right side with respect to his base. And Kalu here with units behind his commander, kiting like a pro. This is 1000 rated. This is a joke. The sort of Joes to Bros changeover around sort of 12 to 1300. And then we're going from sort of Bros to Pros, 16 to 17. And then Pros all the way up to 2000. And after that, well, it's Uber Pro. BJ has got him send the gun, and he's currently chasing down. Well, it's got Tassan here. Tassan asks Ed for support. Ed, both of these commanders are bare, so this means if Ed runs, he's getting 0 damage on BJ. Tassan decides to turn back round. Ed does have a bunch of units here. And there's a whole load of engineers here belonging to BJ. All those are going to go down. Priority number 1 there for Ed. Ed's having flown in some transport with engineers aboard too. Putting down a point defense to retreat back to. And I think a bit of a mistake here from Tassan. Leaves Ed surrounded. BJ's asking for energy, no doubt, to overcharge some of this army. BJ, don't forget, has the gun, and he's not far off from an X rank. I won't bother trying to reclaim. Use your gun. There it is. Just one more kill, and that's it. BJ's got his first rank of vet. Ed realizes there's bother. 5,000 hit points. He tries to block him using a factory distance build. We do go Citrus 984 back here, but I just feels that's a little late. Ed sub 3,000 hit points now. BJ is down to 15. And so that doesn't matter now, no matter what happens here. One splash is going to get the other. BJ overcharges, Ed 180. And boom! The weakest player from Team 1 takes out the strongest player on Team 2. Ed drawing there with BJ inside 8 minutes 45 seconds. That has got to hurt. I best not broadcast too many more games like that. Otherwise I'm going to get a bit of a... he's gonna not like me very much. But I tell you who else isn't going to like this very much. Nightblood finds himself surrounded by Dorset. The 1700 is picked off by the 12. And the 12 lives to tell the tale. That was not a trade. That was outplayed. Crucial kill there from Dorset. Otherwise, things would have looked a lot more shaky for his team, having already lost the strongest player. Picks off the second strongest from the opposing team. Taking a quick look over here now. Stuxnet has got him send the gun up against Love Me Some Rice. And Love Me Some Rice, well, he's got no choice really but to abandon the situation here. See, the factories have been paused by Rice. He realizes the gig's up, pointless tipping Inco into something that can't possibly pay off. Checking back in the mid. Blue versus Vaffles. I mean, man, this, again, the weakest player versus the strongest. And credit to him, he's not losing. He's not overrunning the guy, but he's not losing. He's holding his own. And he knows what to do. ACU and the units behind. He's got his re-support supply lines coming through. Overcharging where appropriate. Going for the units, not the other commander, unless there's nothing else to shoot at. Puts an OC into the forward factory. Nice little flanking move here from Stuxnet, eating into the side of Kalu. This is massive team play, and I can't believe this. Vaffles here, requiring support. If you want to say requirement, I mean, it's not like he's losing, he's just continuing back. But Stuxnet cuts into the side of the weaker player's flank who's pushing. That's fantastic team play from Team 1. I'm just surprised that a 13 together with a 21 are both ganging up on the 1000. Credit to you, Kalu, if you ever see this. Master play. Stuxnet trying to go for some bombings. Looks like Love Me Some Rice, despite being last to get the factory online, was the first to recognize the situation. It's all set down here, continuing to press onto Vaffles' base. And Vaffles here going for gun. 60%. He's got 2 engineers assisting. Does he have the... well, if anything is short on its mass, it's not energy. 75%. Oh, it's going to be close. 80. Wow, Kalu forces a cancel on Vaffles. He's 80% done. He had 2 engineers and he's cancelled. That is a massive waste of resources inside 12 minutes. And Kalu is still fighting on his, well, on his western flank here. Northwestern flank, thanks to Stuxnet, who does have the gun. He's tipping Mantis in. He's trying to get a factory online. And he's currently caught tangoing with all of these units. But I mean, man, Stux better watch out. He's just found himself completely surrounded and outnumbered. Kalu, if he wants, don't run off, man. I think Stuxnet. Oh, it's going to be close. Kalu backs off, though, at a crucial stage. Oh. 2,000. Oh, that's a bit of a missed opportunity. He could have got him there. And Kalu perhaps realizing he'd had a lot of luck backing off a little bit. Perhaps thought things are too good to be true. No, they weren't too good to be true, pal. You were really playing well. But again, if in doubt, why not play it safe? Waffles now with some Tech 2 on the line, the old Ilshies. What a fantastic unit. Coupled up with some spam from the both UEF and the Seraphim there. That's dealing with some of these units from Tassin that are running by. But Dorset's still applying pressure. This guy here is from the team from the Down Under. And he's pushing right up into Waffles' main base. He's not breaking through, but he's right there. This is a lot of pressure. Plus, Waffles was handed off the base belonging to Nightblood as well. So is operating on 2 and does have most of the forward operating facilities under his command. "14.5 minutes, then we'll take a little look at the opening ecos. And just about as Waffles is about to push here. And totals 161 versus 123. So that is quite a sizable advantage to the team down south. Roughly 4-3 mass overall, which is, yeah, I mean, that's a big difference, man. Taking a look at the current income totals. Well, they're over 100 mass per tick ahead, which is unbelievable. I'm not sure how that's possible. Stux once again getting pressured a little bit here from Kalu, who's still Tech 1 and is bare. I don't understand. Wow, Kalu has done all of this bare. I just incorrectly assumed the guy had the gun. No, that of course was BJ down here when he pushed into Ed. But Kalu is now getting pressured in from 2 commanders, both of which do have the gun. And this Tech 2 point defense, I think, is going to be a little late to the party. He does have a couple of Tech 1 PD. That may buy him a little time, but Kalu, if I was you, it's time to run. He does get 1 Tech 2 point defense online, but I'm not sure that's much use. 16 minutes now. And Kalu, who's been 2 versus 1 for a lot of the game. I'm not sure entirely what Love Me Some Rice has been doing. He's been out of position for all of this. He's Tech 2. If he's needed anywhere right now, it's here. And I think as the Cybran needs the gun, Citrus 984 providing air cover in the area, making sure that there's no nasty surprises due. And Kalu here, he's not far off his 3rd rank of vet. Is he going to get it? Well, he absolutely has to focus on these units. He's very, very close. Oh, 1 more kill. There. Oh, no, it's 1 more. He's 1 kill shy. Look at his vet. It's like 90-some%. Stuxnet don't care. Bang. Kalu. 16 minutes, 46 seconds. Pack your bags and go home. Stuxnet says you've played for long enough, and besides, you were punching way above your weight. You're dangerous. So Love Me Some Rice now taking control of what was his base. Tassin over here controlling the other side. 5 versus 5 now becomes a 3-on-3. Taking a quick look elsewhere. Dorset, don't forget this guy, 1200. He's got gun shield. He's Tech 2. The only place really for this guy to go is Tech 3 if he wants to maintain that current setup. He's got a point defense. He's got flak. He's got radar. He's now going on tap missile defense. He's got a couple of point defense actually. He's got the shield as well as a few mobile shields. So this is quite a strong position for Dorset. My only concern is that he gets cut off from behind and then can't escape. And then at some point, just time. Oh, I say Citrus 984 with a strap bomber. Just the one. It's got a mass point. 8 kills thus far. We've also got some Corsairs here belonging to Stuxnet. And they're going for some Love Me Some Rice. This guy is the highest rated player left on their team in Lilac, and he's just got 600 hit points left. The final Corsair Snipe gets him. Stuxnet working together with Citrus 984, and their combined air force takes out a third player. Half the players already gone inside 18.5 minutes. Tassan, no doubt fearing this air, is starting to sprinkle SAM sites quite liberally across the map. The map provided to us by the Neuroxis is something like 12 or 12.5 kilometers by 12.5. Very small, and the SAM sites have pretty decent coverage. Let's have a quick look. Well, there you see it. And so any aircraft flying inside that zone is almost for sure going to get shot down. And you add the fact that there's layered SAMs here, this will be able to take out at least 3 aircraft if a larger squadron decides to fly over. Speaking of flying around, Stuxnet now maneuvering himself around the map, and he's going to drop himself on this plateau. Now this here is wasn't going in blind. He had himself a Corsair fighter bomber there, so he knew what he was getting into. But no doubt trying to exploit the APM disparity now that Team 2 are going to be suffering from. And take a look at this, guys. Team 2 has got a 14 and a 12. That's these two down south, the Blues. And the team up top, despite being on less percent of the map, have got a 13, a 15, and a 2100 rated. Tassan, though, is not letting that dissuade him. He's got Tech 3 on the line now. Loyalists. And Vaffles Noob here with the gun, but otherwise not upgraded. No shields, no tech, no regen, no nano, no nada. Look at this. Tassan finding the time to send scouts up and around, have a good poke around. Stuxnet has now finished dominating the side plateau there. Let's all sit over here. Look at this. He's going for Tech 3, and he's got the engineers to help him pull it off. Dorset, what's the situation? Well, if anything, he's stalling en masse, but he's got the energy. So perhaps worth just pausing a couple of the more expensive factories, especially when you've got Citrus 984 chaining up strat bomb runs like this. Going after the eco options, doesn't manage to get the last bomb off. And with it, Dorset keeps that last mass point. There is 1,700 mass there for his trouble, but he has lost an awful lot of mass points, and we saw he was struggling there. But he's not let it dissuade him. He's still continuing the upgrade. Taking a look up here. Stuxnet getting pushed right back here. Nice push from Tassan up the western flank. He's managed to get a couple of these right in the back. Stuxnet's main base. Stuxnet now forced to produce Tech 1 point defense. He's got fighter bombers overhead. So Tech 1 bombers, rather. So it really is an all hands on deck type situation. And he is a little further back, helping to stop all reinforcing units there. Trickle through. No doubt be glad to see these forces from Vaffles Noob, and that puts a stop to it. The last loyalist now causing untold amounts of damage, but does finally go down. Stuxnet, the heavy damage to his main base. Very nice pressure. And as if things weren't bad enough, we've got TAC missiles now from Tassan. What's going to interest me at this stage is Dorset decides it's time to push. Its forward operating base is half collapsed. So you've got a couple of point defense left. That's about it. A lot of rhinos here from Vaffles that he's going to run into. I do like the use of the mobile shields there. They're going to absorb a lot of that fire initially. There is a bit of a tech mismatch going on. Just got the feeling that Vaffles has got numbers despite the mismatch. See just how quick some of these Titans are going down once they're getting focused down by this army. And Dorset, look at this. He's already got engineers there to reclaim. This guy was anticipating the battle and had engineers sent out. This is something you see pro players do, not Joes. Dorset right on the brink of becoming a bro. And we've now got a drop here. Stuxnet with a lot of air overhead from Tassan. Oh, he decides to detonate. I'm not sure if that was to take out some of the ASF or he just felt he'd had enough. But he's handed what was left of his base to Citrus 984. And that makes it a 2 versus 2. Minute 23. And this is a nasty little drop here from Tassan. Just artillery. And this was a Tech 3 capped off point. That's 27 mass per tick. Citrus 984 is now without. And don't forget, this is already the team that was massively behind. Certainly, economically speaking. Let's have a quick look now. Have they managed to close the gap any? 530 by 430, let's call it. Still an advantage for Team 2. It's still about 100 mass per tick, but the gap in percentage terms is a lot tighter than it was. And certainly if we take into account that in large part that was also reduced there, so it's a lot closer than it previously was. Tassan, no man, I love his aggression. He has continued to push and exploit the fact that the other team has not secured the front line. He's not waiting like, so, oh, I'll just wait till I get a few more units and then secure my push, because it doesn't work like that. The more you wait, the more the other team secure their line. And certainly when you've got to pull your units across. Raffles trying to push beyond now. Dorset, though, with a secondary static defense base there to fall back to. Don't forget he was operating here just a few minutes ago. But look at the raids here from Tassan. Continuing to trying to eat into this very undefended base. There is a solitary brick. There's a couple of point defense. There's now one Cerberus point defense as well. That may just about be enough to hold. Taking a look here. Tassan is tearing Vaffles a new one through the central flanks. All of these were Tech 1 point defense, and they've pretty much all been gotten rid of. We've got a few over here, and this is leaving Vaffles quite far forward and exposed. He's still not got anything on the commander, is however a 4-star. The silver lining perhaps for Team 1 up here is their Air Force. Look at Dorset. He's managed to break on through. It's in one of Vaffles' main base. Few units here supporting as well from Tassan. Just Tech 1, but enough to be annoying, as well as divert some of these Tech 1 bombers away. What we actually got here. Still got 1200 DPS from Dorset, and all of that DPS is getting unloaded into Vaffles' base. And I think Vaffles thinks, oh no, I'm getting outplayed by 1,000 and 1,200 rated players. And the 1,400 is throwing in some Tech 1 artillery to add insult to injury. And suddenly it's a 2 versus 1. Citrus 984 holding the can for what's once upon a time compromised Team Orange. Dorset showing no signs of slowing up here, but Citrus 984 might finally have the answer. A brick wall. Very nice. And I think, despite, if we take a look at the overall for Team 2 down here, 14 and a 12, let's just say 1,300 average. Citrus by himself, 1,500 average, clearly because he's by himself. That 200-point lead, I think, is more than wiped out by the 8 p.m. disparity of the 2v1s. I won't like to exactly call where the sort of advantage of 8 p.m. is negated by the skill level, but I would suggest it's at least 300 points. if we're talking a 2-player versus 1-player type situation. At least. And so far, Tassin just continuing to just raid everywhere. Look, he's raiding everywhere. He's raiding here, he's raiding here, he's raiding here. This is a very porous border that Citrus 984 has got to tighten up. And this is very, very APM intensive. It makes it very difficult as a player to try and sort stuff out back at base, to try and think of plans, to try and do stuff, because you're constantly having your attention pulled away by these little niggly things that may only take 2 or 3 seconds to deal with. But when you've got this many, and now another one over here, Tassin, man, he's playing incredibly well. I think it's perhaps a little premature of Waffles Noob to quit. But having seen Ed taken out from the other team very early on, I have to say it's one of the most underwhelming performances I've ever seen from Uber Pros. And it may be that Waffles Noob feels that if he left, it would make for a more interesting game. That is also possible. We'd have to ask him. But for now, Tassins is still knocking through. Citrus with just enough bricks again as strap bombs overhead. Just enough to deal with what's going on here. And no sooner has he dealt with it, there's more coming up from Dorset. Again, very aggressive with the reclaim here. This is top play. Really, really. And I know I keep saying it, man, but the level of skill on this game is so much higher than it used to be. Honestly, 10 years ago, you had the same true skill rating system going on. And it was a lot easier. Well, I say a lot easier. That's perhaps not fair because everybody was lower, but it was, I reckon, a 1500 from back then would be about a 12 today. Ish. It's like Citrus again, just as he starts trying to direct more units to deal with one porous border, Tassin goes ahead and does stuff like this and makes him pay through another 31 minutes now. And a big scouting run from Tassin. Let's have a look what their team can see. Well, there you have it. Very nice. We've got a minor drop here as well. Let's just have a quick look what we got. A bunch of artillery. So high damage, but not too difficult to deal with. What I do like from Citrus 984 is this. Let's have a look exactly what he's got. He's got 4,000 DPS roaming around the map. The first real attack we've seen from his team all game, I think, from onto the other side of the map. Certainly in terms of land. Of course, Citrus was also behind much of the airstrikes. Stuxnet did send some Corsairs over, though. And yeah, so this very unpleasant artillery spot here. Going for Tech 3 mass points once again. There is a brick, though, dispatched from Citrus. Deals with the artillery. Thankfully, that is nice and quick. And TML snipes as if things weren't bad enough here. Look at this, Tassin. Do not let the enemy rest. Despite this aggressive move from Citrus. Let's have a look. Oh, those TMLs, I think, went into the side of the cliff. We see the scorched earth there. I'm not sure Citrus will realize quite how lucky he was there, but he's not lucky there. And 3 TAC missiles not only destroy the mass point, but prevent there being any wreckage left to help assist the other guy rebuilding or reclaiming. A very devastating move. And Citrus now making landfall, but running into a bunch of broadswords. And I'm not sure this attack is going to get that much done. Just running into more and more Cerberus fire. Do now have an air fight though. And Citrus sending more in across all the time. The problem is when he tries to reinforce through the mid, as we were saying earlier, all of those ASF almost are going to be going down. But I don't believe this. Citrus by himself has just one air. He's got air. There is, however, another major run bite in his base. Mostly just spam. We do have some tech too as well. He has, however, got the ultimate answer. A GC. It's 3/4 done. He's got some point defense. And very important strat bomb. And the Oblivion point defense getting to work versus these Tech 2 units. Citrus starting to push out here through the central as well as the western regions, but still very porous on the east side. See Citrus here making an attempt on Dorset's base. Dorset, though, attack missiles of his own as well as a fatty. He's got a stealth gen. Tech 1 point defense for days. He's got kennel stations. This guy is here and is here to stay. Hey, that's a fancy building arm that you have there, sir. How'd you pull that trick off? Building at 90 degrees off. He says that's Tech 3 peripheral vision for you. Little summit I learnt back in Nam. Bricks though from Citrus 984 pushing through versus some of these SAM sites. And this is a weak spot. I won't bother going for the Cerberus base here, but this here is weak. We've got one Ravager. That would be priority numero 1. And Citrus definitely conquers. Keep pushing elsewhere. Citrus having backed off a little bit there with his air grid. GC is online. I don't like what's going on here. A point defense over here, or just send a unit to deal with it. I don't know. I realise there's 1,000 other things to do. We see these bricks finally cleaned up thanks to the broadswords there from Tassin. And a couple of the bricks here that were perhaps forgotten about from Citrus find themselves surrounded and outnumbered. Yet more units from Tassin. Renegades over here dealing with the Tech 1. But really, it comes down to this. GC versus Spider and Fatty. See. Oh, Citrus severely lacking intel in this department. Needs a radar or spy planes. Yes, the GC has Omni, but it only reaches as far as it can see. Citrus now with air in the area. And a sizable attack through the mid. A second GC. Oh, so it's not a GC. We got a chicken. Citrus bullied back. GC over halfway damage. Dorset knows how to use a fatty, man. That was very good play. It's nice to see players not just going real aggressive with a fat boy and then wondering why it dies so quick. No. Push it, pull it. If it can fire at the max range, you're using it right. Citrus 984 pushing through now, minute 36. And at least in this area, he's got the numbers. What we talking on? Well, let's add those two as well. We're talking 4,200 DPS right here. Problem is Tassin going in with broadswords again. And Citrus, we know, or at least last time we looked, he had air. He just can't hang around the SAM site city too much. We do hear the telltale signs that the chicken is starting to move forward. And I'm liking what we're seeing. And Tassin just max annoyance here. Maximum. Oh man, those of you that know, you know. That is just. Ugh. He knows his opponent is short on APM. Put it that way. Broadswords here mop up quite nice. And that's a shame for Citrus. It's a fight he wouldn't have wanted to lose for naught. Chicken does have escort. I'm not seeing many, if any, bouncers here. I guess Citrus is relying on his air supremacy, which is great, except you don't really have air supremacy over the top of your opponent's SAM site. Tassan now gets a bunch of free shots off versus this land army. And look, he's able to kill them. These are bricks, man. He killed one, half damaged another, just by lazily flying across. Let's just have a look exactly what we're talking here. 12 broadswords, 3.1 DPS. That's horrific. That's not far off experimental figures. Once again, Fatty having another go at this GC that's got no choice but to back off. And a nuke out now. Tassan, did he fire it as soon as it was ready? Yes, he did. I don't see any reason why not. I don't think Citrus has had chance to defend any of his other bases. He's got one in the main base. And comes the nuke. Now this is the central base. A reasonable amount of mass. I think the factories will be the bigger loss there. And I think it's time to split the screen. We've seen a lot of action take place. We've got the chicken over here. We've got the army over here. I'm just temporarily going to knock the scoreboard out the way. It's not something I've ever done, but I feel it needs to be done on this example. Keep the mini-map there for those that want to see it. Chicken, together with air supremacy and bricks from Citrus, pushing down on the western flank. Eating into Tassan's main base that has not seen too much activity for a long time. Citrus will be relieved here. Slight delay. And once again, air units tangling. And I'm wondering, has Citrus got the numbers or is it Tassan? We're seeing here broadswords going for the chicken. And Citrus, absolutely imperative he takes these guys out. He's trying, and Tassan has only got one job: kill his ASF. Broadswords kill the chicken. Citrus with 2 GCs up here, and again the 2 blue players are retreating on the eastern flank. Chicken now 3 stars, continues to press. The broadswords are mostly down, and there are still some escorting units. It's just where you'd like a couple of lightning tanks. Ravagers online now from Tassan's base. Oh, the chicken's a 5-star, and he's gotten right up with the nuke launcher. Kill it, and he gets it. The nuke launcher is down, and so is the chicken. Still have a few bricks remaining. And Citrus, oh, he's redirecting the bricks over here. I think that might be a mistake with all of these point defense. I'd like to see him finish off the air grid. Taking a look elsewhere. Once again, we've got a push through. Get the scoreboard back on now. Dorset decides, no, not that one. Fat Boy in the mid takes out some ASF caught napping. And the experimentals here getting awfully close to Citrus's air grid, who's continuing to push over here. But these bricks, unfortunately, are going down to masses of Cerberus. And I think with that, we can afford to go back over here. It certainly feels like this is where it's at. 42 minutes. 25 seconds. Citrus playing an absolute blinder. We'd expect nothing less. The problem is, his opponents have been really, really good. Titans here taking a dislike to Citrus's interceptors. His ASF. Perhaps Citrus is happy to allow those to eat some fire. As long as the Titans are shooting at ASF, they're not shooting at anything else. GC over here, lunging to Citrus, mopping up some of these units. He's desperately trying to get more point defense online, and he's going to need them. GC is not too far away from its first rank of vet. It's making good use of its tractor beams up its arms. Bursts now from Dorset as well. We've got a whole bunch of units overrunning. We've got a defense sat over the air grid belonging to Citrus. We've got more Titans billowing through. We've got another fat boy on the other flank, and it's starting to look a little bit like GG. Ping's desperately going down. Yes, no doubt, once the air grid gone, love me some rice. Get the P-Gen done. I don't think it's going to matter. Citrus here, 2,500 hit points remain. He's got 3 Titans, 4 on him, 1,700, 13. 1 Titan remains, 1,100. And now with Percy's and Fat Boy fire. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Boys and girls, what a fantastic game. Bang. There we go. I would find the button eventually. I really hope you enjoyed that one. Do ensure that you give these guys a like if you enjoyed the game. I realise I screwed up a little bit at the end there. Fantastic play from players all round. And man of the match, I have to say, BJ, 1,000 rated. Trading with a 24. And I didn't see any 2v1 at all. I didn't. I realised that Citrus Knight 84 was hanging. He was lurking in the background, and perhaps an oversight from Tassan. But yeah, until from me next time. That's a terrible ending. Until next time from me, wherever in the world you may be, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Take care. Bye-bye.